Am I pronouncing your last name correctly, Mr. Hoke? Hoke? Thank you. Mr. Hoke, do you think this kind of fraud is isolated in Minnesota? Do you think it's pervasive? Yes. Do you think it just is a case of child care fraud, or would it apply to more broadly to various non-governmental organizations that are given contracts by the federal different federal departments? Here, why don't you get your microphone up there? Yes, sir.
I think it covers almost every organization, nonprofits, NGOs, healthcare, adult daycare, autism centers. And so I want to go back to something that Mr. Weissman said. So this is the second time now that he has questioned my data. He was just discredited. So I offered in my second video $100,000 to anybody who could prove my data wrong. So I stand by it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Senator.
No, you'll have plenty of chance to refute what you disagree with there. But so not limited to daycare, not limited to Minnesota. Are you continuing your investigation beyond Minnesota?
I am, and I've heard from every state in the country where people are uncovering the same sorts of fraud. I can't say it's exactly the same, but every day I'm getting emails, I'm getting messages. You know, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Washington, I'm in California, Texas, all over. We're finding the same types of fraud here, and I can't. It's so massive that I can't possibly help everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I have a document published by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, nonprofit organizations total assets level, dated January the 9th, 2026. I'd ask unanimous consent to make that part of the record.
Without objection, it'll be admitted. So
this document, and I'm happy to show it to you, shows that there are $13 trillion in total assets that are in the hands of NGOs or non-profit organizations. Does that number shock you like it shocks me? 13 trillion.
Well, Senator, I think what happens is we've become desensitized to these big numbers because we hear them so often. It's a shocking number all on its own. Yes.
So it strikes me part of the problem is when the U.S. Congress appropriates money, they're appropriated usually to federal agencies, and then they contract with NGOs and others. And I think one of the things we need to look at is what those contracts provide for, and particularly with regard to the requirement for audits on a periodic basis. But you're concerned about fraud being more pervasive and extending beyond Somali child care in Minnesota. Would it also extend to these $13 trillion in the hands of non-governmental organizations?
There's certainly going to be a good portion of that is fraud. Now, one of the reasons that I don't have a clearly defined number on the amount of fraud is because 4 times I've requested from the state of Minnesota the data for the payments, the Medicaid payments going to these transportation companies. And remember in the video, Nick and I went, and none of them existed. One was a liquor store, one was a grocery store, one was a mailbox. And so the state won't turn over to me the amount of money that these companies are getting. That's why I had to take a national average in the video, and that's how I came up with the number, and it's staggering.
So what sort of recourse in terms of recouping the amount of money stolen in the Somali daycare operation?
So what
how can that money be recouped if it can?
Well, you're never going to get it all back, but again, we have to stop worrying about suitcases full of cash at the airport and transfer wires going to Saudi Arabia and Kenya and all these other places. You got to cut the money off at the source, and you got to go to these social service agencies and tell them if you write a fraudulent check, you run the risk of going to prison, period. You have to have that sitting there, so they're going to think twice before they issue a payment because they might end up in prison because it's a felony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank